Hi, everybody. This is the month of March newsletter. We're right on the deadline. And so Monday is the first. And so, how did you celebrate? Celebrate the International Women's Month. Yeah. So we didn't have a non-podcast this month. So I thought I'd roll in here, pop in here, and talk a little bit about everything. Okay, so first of all, I'm 2 weeks into my Portugal trip this year. I'm facing, they call it a river, but it's the bay because the ocean's right over there. And it's been really nasty weather for about 5 days. But as you can see, I think with the light, that sun is shining, and I've got this really big window open, and I sit high up on the hill, and it's beautiful. Yeah, so I like that. I like this place. I guess because I'm always on my way or coming back, but it does something for the spirit in a very deep way. So so there's a couple of things going on. I'm getting ready to do the Camino walk on the May 1st. So I move out of Lisbon, Portugal, and go to Portugal. And next Monday, and kind of travel up the coast with a driver and stop and having lunch, eat fish, the Portuguese thing. Then I need to be training. So I had an injury this year, so I'm starting a little bit late with that. And so so I'm still walking. I've got some plans on the way. I've got people I'm meeting that I have met through traveling here and online and stuff like that. So I think I have all the safety measures in place. Okay. So let's and what I want to do is do YouTube a little bit for the trip. I thought about making it a separate YouTube, but I have to make my life pretty simple because it's so enriched with work, business, travel, my personal everything, so I thought I'd just keep it on the same wave, the or same channel, the wave channel, whatever. So next month, I mean April, sometime in the month, you'll have Chelsea and Jaime back with me, and we're going to do a piece on medical model versus holistic model. Okay. So be here for that because we got a lot to say. I built my practice with all of that, and that's where where it comes from. And sometimes people will come to me for diagnosis and medication, or I don't prescribe, but I do recommend. And so I push them into more of a holistic model for a change of pace. And I just want to tell you why. So that'll be part of our non-podcast podcast for next month. So stay tuned. All right, to get on with this month, how did you celebrate women anyway, guys? So women celebrate each other in a very very big way. With them, we empower each other. We we hold each other up. We are the sex that got power after the fact, right? And so we deserve to have that that front place in our lives, in our families' lives, and in business, and in leadership too. So if you wonder why we get a little cranky when we don't have a voice or we're not heard, just kind of look at a little bit of that history, and you'll know why. Not everybody's a loudmouth like I am, speaking it for their rights, and I'm certainly quieter than I used to be. But there is nothing more beautiful than being a woman. And so it is, you know, how did you celebrate your womanhood this month? And guys, how did you celebrate your woman? Yeah, think about that. Okay, so we are. Yeah, I could go on about that because I'm even tearing up in the aspect of thinking about the qualities that we have that are so unique from the male population. That sensuality, that the beauty, um, the strive for empowerment and individualism and independence and freedom and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah. So just remember, guys, where we came from, so that you hey, if you want to hang with us, I don't know, maybe you don't. So, but if you want to hang with us, just remember, my shades, my transitions are making, because I'm like, as you can see, the wind is blowing in the air, and I've got this sea breeze happening, and I got it going on. So, all right, the think about a woman that you admire, like a teacher or a friend, a family member, somebody that you look up to. A lot of times we have those people that are in our lives that come in and change our lives. What about a woman that's come into your life and who has changed your life? I can only usually think of one person, because and I'm not going to be able to talk about her because I'll cry, right? I don't always want to cry on the video, but her name is Sharon, and she was there. Oh, you want to think about a teacher, a friend, a family member, and of course a therapist. I'm just kidding. All right, but I did have a therapist that changed my life, and yeah, I probably could have done it on my own. I had lots of. I mean, I don't know. Could I have? I don't know. I don't know. Some days I think I probably would have died if I hadn't met her, and some days I think, well, I had this such a unique sense of resiliency and fight in me, then I may have fought through it. But she helped me until I stopped fighting and allowed the good to come into my life. And that took a couple of years, so I wasn't a real pretty girl or picture. It wasn't a pretty picture because I fought with her a lot. But she gave me I guess, the permission to be myself, and she helped me find that beauty in myself. And I think she was the first one that I allowed to love me, because I at that point in my life I didn't know myself. So if at the time. The guys don't really want to hear this, but I got to her because I punched my boyfriend. Now, obviously, I've gotten a little more finesse about my life. I don't punch anybody anymore, but everybody knows I have a other life that it was. I was a little more colorful, and so I got into her office based on my behavior, and they put me into this male group because I was a little bit more of a bad girl type, like the guys, most of the guys that were in the group. So she put me there, and I never got to go to the women's group, but I saw her individually, and she cracked me. Okay, and it took a while, and I liked her because she could tell me like it is, and wasn't afraid. I remember getting up in her face and punching her, wanting to punch her. Got really, really close, and she didn't even blink, and I went out the door. I think when that happened, I knew that I started actually getting better. So when you have those teenagers, because I had teenager energy when I showed up, and I was 29. So, or I think I was about 30, 31 when I found her. But anyway, so I still had that teenager energy. Just remember, you stand tough, and they might think that you're going to stay around, right? Okay. So anyway, She, the work that she did, the way she committed to my case, and the way that she wasn't afraid, and she helped me and my whole family. I just didn't, I admire her for that, and that was the beginning of the major change in my life. There's been a few other women since then now, but that was the one that helped me go from the street mentality to, to ground zero, I guess, ground zero, so that I could move up from there. And so I'm really grateful that I found her in my life. Yeah. So who is that person? I want to look at it, the woman. So you can stop the tape, the video, or whatever you used to call it, tapes. Stop the video right now. And what's her name? What was she like? What kind of qualities did she have? What what was the story? And what kind of meaning did it add to your life? What kind of meaning did they add to your life? Okay. And I think with Sharon, of course, I wanted to just help one person like she helped me. And, that was 35 years ago or so. And so I got into the field kind of blindly with, was just trying to learn about myself and the education. I was learning about therapy topics because that's kind of all I knew when I started coming to. And so I'm just really grateful for that. We put together some historical, oh, go ahead. I'm going to let you pause. So pause and think about that woman just for a second. Okay. And how did she come into your life? What kind of impact did she have? Where would you be without her? All that kind of stuff. And certainly celebrate within yourself of that woman that made that impact. Okay. So come on back to, yeah, pause if you haven't already, but welcome back if you did. Okay. So I want to move into the next part of my series, because this will be the first of some on for my solo trip. So women and solo trip, and why do they do it, and why did I do it, and what it's done for me, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I travel alone for a lot of reasons, but I think that I forget about those special moments when I get off and running back into my life, back in the U.S. or back at home. And I want to start writing about that and teaching people the essence of solo travel. For women, it's different, okay? Because, yeah, I just want to talk about women right now because it's International Women's Month, right? But for women, the things that we're striving for, that independence, that empowerment, that ability to do things on your own without help from a man, those things are so important to our identity and identity development, because a lot of times, and by history, over centuries, women have been the caretaker, family, matriarch, and kept the kind of the family together. And I'm not saying that we did that transition and it wasn't bumpy, and there's a lot of negatives actually to it, but here we are, 2024, and we still kind of have some work to do in the world in recognizing the efforts that women have contributed to our world. So one of the, and we, and by through the centuries, we have let ourselves go into the families and the corporations and things, and taking the back seat. So solo travel. Back to solo travel is a way in which that you can independently kind of get some of the outcomes that you would want in order to present yourself in a more powerful way, and you find out what your essence is. You find out where your strengths and weaknesses are, and you work through them, and you never knew you were so strong. So what happens is you get on, you start the process, and the planning. I'll go past the planning and get into we can do that another time. But getting into that travel, what happens is that you're by yourself. So all of those resources that are inside have laid dormant, especially in the beginning of doing that solo travel as part of your life. Those resources inside that you never knew you had, they get accessed, okay? Because you're protecting yourself. You're finding those pieces that help you in just in the way that you move around with your luggage, and the way in which you watch the people. You're back into that moment that we talk about in therapy, kind of get in the moment. You have to be in the moment. And so you see things in a different way when you're in the moment. Some of you have learned that in your life without doing solo travel, but when you do solo travel, you do it immediately. Okay, so how it started for me is back about 20 years ago, and I was a ways into my my therapy, but I was in my master's program, and I went to the UK by myself, and then traveled all over that area, Wales and Ireland and Scotland, and then to Italy and Paris and back, and then came back to home. It was the most empowering thing that I'd ever done in my entire life. When I started my healing path, I couldn't do anything alone. And I've got some really funny stories about that, but I won't go into that right now. I mean, I couldn't do anything alone. It was always, somebody else kind of taking care of me and trying to, access relationships. So they would, care for me in those kind of situations. But this was something that I had wanted to do. And so, and what it gave me was, when I got back from the trip, I could do anything. I could do anything. I was ready for anything. So it gave me the confidence to move across the country. And that's when I went to Alaska and started moving around the country in my work and making my new life that I had created, not just from the the therapy kind of part of the story, but also my education and personal, professional development and everything. So I took it all around the world. Okay, so I started living all in a lot of places, on Indian reservations out in the Aleutian Islands of Alaska. And which turned my life into an adventure. And I made choices right there. There was kind of a fork in the road. Hey, I started a little bit late, but and I was certainly on the path of trying to catch up. But so the experience of solo travel kind of was a jump start, to getting me into who I am and what I wanted to do. So, and I decided that was building my professional career, and therefore being on an adventure at the same time. So that's what I've been doing ever since. That's been my life, and I've no regrets. So back to that solo travel, in kind of in the way that I travel is I come into a new place. I like some things haven't changed. I like St. Louis for its little neighborhoods and getting to know the laundress, or, the corner cleaners, or the corner store, the corner market. Of course, at sometime early on, it was the corner bar, but since I don't do that anymore, it's more the markets, the delis, the restaurants, the people. and being able to walk into that neighborhood. So that urban stuff that I learned early on in St. Louis, I think really gave me some background in doing how I travel now, right? I had a fondness for cultures so far back that I don't even know when it started. So I'm interested when I get to a place. I'm not so interested in the tourist spots, although I do a couple of them, just to kind of interact in that and to see something that I wouldn't normally see. I'm interested in meeting the locals, hanging with the locals, sitting and watching them, from watching the lady I just did go to from trash can to trash can to get the little plastic thing that goes around the plastic soda bottle. I have no idea why she's collecting it, but she was. And then ordering a coffee down at the grocery store, because one day they did cappuccinos and the next day they didn't, and I couldn't speak the English. I couldn't speak the language her language well enough to try to get my cappuccino again, so whatever. And what people are eating. So in my bed and breakfast there is a cookbook, so I just kind of open up to and look at what is given to me in the travel experience, and I'm not trying to go make an experience, right? I'm not trying to make an experience. I'm trying to live like they are. And of course, I'm working. So in a way, I am living like they are, living because of the weather that day, the wind, whether I can go sailing or where I can, and then taking the recipes out of the Portuguese cookbook and filling my apartment. It's a 2-bedroom apartment, which is bigger than my 36-foot RV or my motorhome down in South Texas. So then I get to have the smells of the Portuguese food in the room. I watch the Portuguese news. I watch people. I listen to their conversations because sometimes I speak English. But so I chill with everybody, and I've had some really bad weather here lately, but that didn't keep me from going into town and meeting up with a group that I found that speak English. And so I spent some time, a couple of hours with this group, and then we went to a museum together and went to eat together. And so getting new friends and I do that if I do short-term travel or long-term travel. So those of you that don't know it, I'm working on a visa for my move to Portugal. I've got a lot to say about travel, more than I'm saying right here. So I'm going to do a writing piece on it. But this has been a dream of mine for a while. I think it evolved. It started out to be just the Camino, and then it was my time in Madeira, and I fell in love with Madeira. Now I'm, kind of fantasizing about having an outdoor kitchen on the side of the mountain facing the Atlantic Ocean off Madeira Island. I don't know, I'm just letting it evolve, and to have that kind of freedom in my life. I guess, going back to the woman that made the most impact in my life, I honor her. She's passed away, and the meaning that she helped me find in my life is just, there's just no way I could ever thank her, But I guess I do in my daily work, and I certainly access her energy and knowledge and all of that kind of stuff. So look forward to I'll do them separate from our non-podcast podcast, but I'll talk to you about my journey this time, since I'm going to do the Camino walk. It's based there's 3 routes. I thought about I started my process in planning the Camino walk back in 2016 when I went to Gibraltar for my friend Sheila's wedding, and I ended up in southern Spain in a hostel. A hostel is a overnight stay for cheap, for lack of a long way to say it. And then all these people started rolling in, and it was really late, midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and it woke me up. I came down and I got curious, and they all had just got done with the Camino. There was a group, maybe 20, 25, somewhere around there, and they just rolled into the hostel, and they talked about their experience. Some had met on the Camino. Some were doing anniversaries on the Camino. The ages were from like 75 down to 20 in their 20s. Some trained, some didn't. So I kind of did my little research right there for the next 3 hours about the Camino, saw the pictures, heard the stories, and decided to do it right there. Okay, so this is the year that I decided to do it, because I felt like I would be closer to being able to take off some time and not worry about expenses. I found all kinds of ways to do that since then, because since I knew I was going to do it, I just planned my life around it. I moved into an RV. I stopped carrying around a bunch of stuff. Of course, I accumulate, but that's another story. But I stopped. I got rid of all my furniture and stuff, so I have a small storage and my 36-foot motorhome. And that gave me the freedom to come and go when I please, and still have a home when I come back, and not have to find somebody to live with, and all of that freedom that's around that. So then the story kind of evolved, right? So since then I've been researching the Camino within itself. The routes all go to Santiago, which there'll be a church there. There's more than 4 routes, but the main routes are through France, through Spain, and Portugal coast. And so I'm doing the Portugal coastal route. The concept of pilgrims are that you are on a spiritual journey, and you do it to gain some kind of insight into your life. And gosh, I love all that stuff. So, and there's people that have these algarves or something like that. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but you stop in their houses, they feed you and give you a place to stay for a real cheap. And I'm going to do some of that, and I'll do some bed and breakfast. I will have a couple of working days every week. And some of you will take a break during that month of May, but for the most part, I still have a program going. I still will be doing some work and bringing those few ladies that are in the program in my cohort 8 in the Take Your Life Back and More program. I'll be bringing them on the trip with me. So because on the Saturdays I'll be somewhere on that trail and be able to share my experience with them. And so I guess I could keep talking on. I don't have a set intention towards the spiritual as much as I have intention towards being there for my body. In my mind, if I made that plan to do this Camino at this particular time in my life, that I was telling me that I wanted to be healthy for the rest of my life. And so with that kind of start in terms of intention, I'm going to be taking good care of myself in terms of and being aware of what I can do and what I can't do. There's a train too. So if I get in a jam and need to train it to the next town, and I'll do that too. Yeah, that the rural. I've had a lot of rural experiences in my adventures in my life, and there's something about rural that really gets me to my heart faster because I don't have any of that stimulation. So that time in this time of my life seems pretty magical. So thank you so far for being on this journey with me. And again, I'll have this just in the main YouTube. So if you're subscribed to the YouTube or you know how to get to the YouTube, you'll be fine in here. I'll probably label it Camino Journey, and then so I'll tell you more about it as we go along. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for their business, and I truly, 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 from the bottom of my heart, just love the work I do. It means a lot to me from a deep place in my heart. I feel like I'm giving back back to how Sharon helped me find myself and be able to yeah, know how to use take the darkness of my past and turn it into this path that I've got going for myself. And then I also get to share it with others. It all means so much to me. It's just overwhelming sometimes when I think about it. I'm still hoping to write that book. I got so many funny stories about all these adventures and the work that I've done, but so it just, I have to have enough downtime. And so last year I kind of got in touch with the writing voice a bit, and I'm still kind of working on that part-time, not as much as last year, but so there'll be some time coming up that I'll be able to do that. So keep on coming back to this monthly newsletter, and hopefully the this uh, the videos are kind of fun to watch too. So hopefully that you will enjoy them. And yeah, guys, go home. Okay, go home and celebrate your girl. Okay, so your woman. Yeah, I know you can't always understand them, but hear them. Okay, hear them. Yeah, so they need someone to know. They need to know that someone is hearing them. So yeah. So bye. Let me find the. I don't think I. I'm still trying to find the button. I guess I'll probably. I can't see it because the sun's in the way. All right, here we go.